let's go now to Ross Amer, a former Boeing 777 instructor and aero consulting expert. He is on the phone with me now. All right, sir, so tell us about these planes, because what we've heard from our campaign reporter, Alan He, is that it's not uncommon for them over the course of these many campaign swings to have hard landings in these planes. What can you tell us about these planes?
Well, this was a 737-700, I believe. This is Eastern Airlines, a fairly new low-cost carrier out of Miami. They really have nothing to do with Eastern Airlines, the real classy airline in the past. Someone just bought the name and the logo. What you said about these airplanes making a hard landing once in a while, it's not correct. Normally, just because it's a campaign, nobody makes a hard landing. Of course, LaGuardia is a tough airport to get in and out, especially in bad weather. And I can't speculate on what happened because we don't know. However, the only thing that kind of hits me right away is that this was a fairly new airline, again, a low-cost carrier. Perhaps the pilots are not as experienced as the major airlines in the U.S. And also, one of the things that I would agree with, I don't know if anybody talked about it, is that during these campaign flights, charter flights, there's a lot of pressure on the crews. The pilots perhaps sometimes go over their limit of duty. As we all seen once in a while, people are standing up on takeoff and landing. Unfortunately, flight attendants kind of lose control. But that doesn't mean you have to make hard landings. That's very unusual. And when you depart the surface of the hard surface of the runway, it is now considered an accident. It's no longer a hard landing.
And so I just want to make sure I'm clear, because I didn't want to leave the misimpression, but our campaign reporter, who's been traveling with Governor Pence and as part of the traveling press corps, has reported to us that in his experience on board these planes, what they've experienced actually is that hard landings are quite common. And so that was the point that I was making, is that he has just told us that's his experience, that he's felt that a number of times. And in fact, he told us when they were landing in Fort Dodge, Iowa earlier today, they joked about a particularly hard landing as they were coming into that city. So I just wanted to make that clear. But as we learn more about this over the coming days and weeks, I'm just wondering, with respect to weather, because of course that's something that we see there, the pavement is wet. Alan, our reporter, was telling us how it was raining at the time. How would you characterize the conditions? Light rain is what was being reported at LaGuardia at the time.
Yeah, I looked at the weather at the time, and they were forecasting some light rain with northwesterly winds. Nothing that an experienced pilot couldn't handle. One of the good things that happened with this flight is that they were probably saved by what they called EMAS system. This is a engineered crushed surface at the end of fairly short runways. This particular runway in LaGuardia is, I would consider it fairly short. And they have this arresting system. It's almost like, if you will, if your car drives into a portion of the runway that someone just poured brand new concrete and it hasn't set. So it arrests the aircraft. Otherwise, this airplane could have ended up in the Flushing Bay.
Yeah, and Mr. Amer, as you were speaking there, we're showing our viewers a picture of what appears to be that very thing, and at the same time, simultaneously, our CBS News transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve is talking about that, has been reporting, in fact, that it looks as though this plane did encounter that EMAS engineered material arrestor system that he says it essentially gives way when a plane hits it, and then it slows the plane like a plane drying through sand. I want to let our viewers know that apparently, according to the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, they have reopened one of LaGuardia's 2 runways. Again, according to the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, they have reopened one of LaGuardia's 2 runways for arriving and departing flights. So that would appear, Mr. Amer, to be a bit of good news, but I would imagine an investigation like this is going to be looking at a very long list of potential factors.
Absolutely. One of the first things that obviously the NTSB would look into is the weather condition, the condition of the aircraft itself, and the condition of the crew, the experience of the crew, what was their rest pattern prior to this flight. As I was saying, there is a tremendous amount of pressure on the flight crews, flight attendants, pilots, doing these type of charters. And I hate to even speculate that perhaps these guys may have been tired. Fatigue is the #1 killer when it comes to driving trucks on the highway or flying airplanes. So obviously, I don't know what happened to this particular crew. I heard some rumors that they had changed the one of the pilots prior to this flight, and that's one of the things that the investigators will look into to find out what exactly happened to this crew and why, if there was a change, if that's the true story. And of course, myriad of things that they will look into. But again, I think that EMAS system really saved that aircraft and the passengers.
Certainly sounds like it. All right. Ross Amer, thank you so much, sir, for your insight. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure.